Hey there, everybody. Nathan Elson here. Now, I want to talk to you today about Evoto AI, which is some software that I've been using a lot lately, and it's just making leaps and bounds in the functionality that it has. Now, they came out with this new tool that has made the type of editing that I've had to do lately just so much cleaner. So I'm going to take you guys into Photoshop. I'm going to show you what I used to do. Then I'm going to jump into Evoto AI. I'm going to show you the new process and how much faster and cleaner it is. And I'll explain the different uses that I've found for this tool. But let's jump into Photoshop and I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so here we are in Photoshop, and this is something that I've actually had to do a lot lately. And that is essentially just provide a larger background than what my backdrop provides so that the client can have room above and below and to the sides of the images for type, just for different ad placements. So what I've often had to do is shoot the images like this and then try to fill in the background later. So in Photoshop, what I would do is I'd come over and I'd grab my selection tool, and then I would just come through, select all of the areas that I did not want in the image, and then I would just do a quick content aware fill. Now, this does an okay job. It will go through, it will remove a lot of these distractions, but it doesn't create the perfection that I'm looking for. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here now and I'm just gonna select this same side and click through that, content aware fill that. And once it processes through, again, this is something that I run into is it's pulled one of her feet and made that part of the background as well. So I'm just gonna select that out and we'll content aware fill that out, and hopefully that gets rid of that. It does. So now this is the issue that I run into is, as you can see in this area here, the shadows, they don't cohesively run through the image. Same with this line here that gets left behind just from joining the old backdrop to the new backdrop. It just doesn't flow as well. And the same thing happened on this side when I made the selection. So yes, of course, I can go and I can take my healing brush and my clone stamp and I can go through and I can spend time perfecting the image, but it's just a process that just adds more and more time to my retouching. And it's just something that I don't enjoy doing. So I'm going to show you now in Evoto AI how I can do this in about a second and it looks perfect. Okay, so here we are in Evoto AI, and all I'm going to do is come over and I'm going to click on my background adjustments. And then I'm going to come up to this new section where it has this distractions removal button. And as soon as I click that, it removes any distractions in the image and gives me this perfect blend from the image to the corners, a before and an after, and it took a second. And not only that, I can now use this setup and I can apply it to other images. So even this image here, which, they go from sitting now to standing, this image here where they're in different colored outfits. So I'm just going to select this initial image and then I'm going to highlight the other two, and I'm just going to come over and I'm going to click sync. And as soon as I sync this, it's going to come through and apply all of those adjustments and automatically remove any distractions in the background. Even when they're standing here, it goes from before to after. So as we're before in Photoshop, it might have taken me, say, 5 minutes to go through and perfect the image. This has now taken me 1 second. And not only that, I've had 3 images here that I needed to edit, and I did it in less than 30 seconds. Whereas with the other process, it's more like 15 minutes. So it just cuts out so much time in my editing process. Now, not only that, I can come over to an image like this, and I've got this image where the background I was using was pretty beat up. Now, previously, I would have to go through and I would have to manually remove all of these nicks and rips and stuff like that that are happening in the paper. But the other option that they have here is this clean backdrop. So if I click on that, it automatically cleans up the backdrop. So before and an after. And then if I come back up and I click on the distraction removal, now everything is perfect. And again, I can apply that to these other images. So if I click on the initial image and then select these other two and I click sync, it's going to go through and it's going to automatically apply all of those options to these images, even though they're not exactly the same. So before, after. And again, a matter of seconds. Now there's one last thing that I want to show you here. I'm just going to jump back into Photoshop. So this is an image that I shot vertically that I wanted to use on a horizontal banner. So I took the image and I placed it on top of a white background that had the same ratio for the banner that I needed to create. So what I'm going to do again is I'm just going to come over and I'm going to select this side of the image and I'm going to do the content aware fill. And I'm going to try to fill in that side. It gave me some legs again. So let's just see if we can get those out. It gave me that. And then let's just come to this side. And again, content aware fill that. And so this is the problem that I run into, is that none of this is cohesive. It looks like I cut and pasted her into some weird mix. It just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to jump into Evoto AI again. I'm going to show you how quickly it does this perfectly. All right, so back in Evoto AI, and all I'm going to do is click on the distraction removal, and boom, instantly, all of the shadows, all of the light trails, everything are perfect. This is the before. This is the after. It took no time at all. It made everything so fast, so easy. It's cut down my editing time by an insane amount. So one last thing that I want to show you guys is that if you do try this tool, and I highly recommend that you do, there's been times when I've clicked on the distractions removal tab and it didn't do anything. It gives me this warning. So in that instance, all I do is I come up and I just click on the actual distractions, and it automatically removes everything that isn't part of the backdrop. Again, before, after, super clean, super easy, super fast. It's my go-to process. And so there you go. If you're doing any type of photography where you're photographing maybe groups of people on a backdrop and it's not quite wide enough because it's 9 feet wide, but you've got 4 or 5 people. And so you end up having to shoot the outsides of the backdrop and then fill it in later in post. I can't recommend this software enough. It just makes the entire process so fast, so quick. And like I said, it's my go-to from this point forward. So if you guys are interested in checking out Evoto, use the link down in the description. It gives you 15% off of your purchase of your credits. I mean, that's it. That's all. It's awesome. Go check it out. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video.